came by and said that Elfi was going to take the set.
Yeah, he said Odie said that Elfi was going to win. And then we had David Ting himself say that Violet was going to win. So we'll have to see which one of those two giants are going to be right. But yeah, we are going to go over into Group A here very shortly. We are still waiting on both of the players to be ready for this game. So we're not sure exactly when it's going to start. Right. But that's why we're here to entertain you guys back at home, to make sure you are having fun and not just watching commercials all the time. You can look at our faces instead.
Well, that may not be the best for you in my case, I guess, but I don't know. I break cameras a lot. It happens. So again, for those of you guys who are just tuning in or just getting things started, there are several stages to this tournament. We have a group stage right now. There's 64 players. We're going to take the top 2 out of those groups, and they're going to move into an 8-group stage that begins tomorrow. And actually, we're going to take a look at brackets here in just a second.
That's the group we're going into, Group A right there.
There you are. And then the top players from the second group stage will, of course, make it to our 8-player single elimination tournament that will start on Monday at 4 p.m., and that is the main event. But here we go. We're taking a look at things. Elfi up 2-0 in the group. Violet 1-0 right now, and, of course, they're about to square off against each other, and this is basically going to decide who gets first in the group.
Yeah, I mean, we can say right now, Elfi's already won 2 games really fast, convincingly here. So no doubt they were super aggressive plays. Elfi very known for unpredictable, aggressive styles of play. Look at that. Elfi and Freeman definitely spotting some excellent postures there.
That's a nice lean there, a little bit of swagger for our players, as we can see.
Definitely fitting for the recent actions within the gaming community as well. But as we can see, the other results coming in so far, if we see Lucifron and Freezy currently leading their group with White Rot and Wanty losing the first set of games. Sorry, oh my God, excuse me. 4GG, he picked up his first win of the day. I mean, he has later on have to play against Target. I think that's going to be a great game there. And as we move on to Group D, hasn't had any results down in Group D. We already have a result from Group E or results from Group E. Bling beating out the Zerg player Devil 2-0. Soke beating out the fellow German as well, 2-0. So again, a lot of 2-0s, a lot of convincing results. But this is pretty much expected in the day one of a open tournament for sure.
I definitely agree as well. And Naiden off to a strong start, as we can see in Group F, up 2-0. Actually won both of his sets, 2-0, 2-0. But of course now has the task of going against Tasia.
Yeah, that'll be the third game as well.
And yeah, that's actually the third game that we're going to cast. So I hope you guys will stick around for that. In Group G, Hero and Cloud off to a very good start, both with 2-0s as well. Everything kind of going as we expected. You know, there's usually 2, possibly 3 very strong players in each group, and we expect them all to match up. And this Jester Eric player is actually 1-0 in this group right now. Unfortunately, of course, Rhett was
against Rhett.
Oh, that's right. I didn't realize that right away. So, yeah, it was a walkover, unfortunately, as Rhett was not available.
And then Group I, as we see, we have, it's actually coming down into the later stages. This is actually the second half of today, which will be broadcast this afternoon. So the schedule is going to be 3 games, which we've already spoke about. Then there's going to be like an 1-hour lunch break, and then there's going to be 3 games again. So if we look at these groups down here, I mean, we have the Spanish group in Group I there. We have 2 players from Coronte. I'm quite sure that LOL versus XT plays for Coronte as well.
He's one of the 3 actually official members of Coronte. In Team League situations, they do pull on other members as well, players like Alistor, Miko L, things like that, but those are 2 official Coronte Esports Club members.
Sage and Tilo in the same group there. Tilo with his interview and just his vibe at this tournament has been amazing. He's in great shape, confidence, and he's feeling amazing. And then we do see Grubby's group, 2 little dangerous Zerg players that Grubby has to go up against. Eel from France that qualify for WCG as well. Not WCG, WCS, should I say. Yes. Protoss is always a dangerous Finnish Zerg player that always competes at the top of the Finland Nationals. And then we can see Group L and the rest.
Yeah, Group L, of course. Show, we're unaware of where he's at the moment. We were given word that he may or may not end up being here. Of course, Sase probably favored to take that group in any case, as he has been playing very, very well, although a little bit under the radar lately. Group M, there was a lot of discussion on the threads about Monster, actually, former Warcraft 3 player, but, of course, that group going to be dominated more than likely by Nama and Stefano.
Absolutely. I think Stefano's going to probably go through theirs first. Nama has been shown a little lack in form recently, but this is definitely his position to set up. Remember, former DreamHack champion there. Group N.
I was just going to say, it seems like Nama is that kind of player, though, who every once in a while just all of a sudden just takes down the top guys in the world. It's like out of nowhere, just comes back and is like, no, I'm actually super, super good at this game.
I completely agree. He does that a lot. Group N is actually a very nice one. Full Terran, if I'm not mistaken there. The SEC, the big one. That is right. The big one, TBO. TLO's bigger brother is playing in this tournament, of course, alongside Poyo and Muslim. And then going down into Group O, we have Moon, Fnatic's Moon, of course, playing in this tournament. Adele Scott, and then we have Alistair, the Spanish guy, and then Nicolay as well.
I'm looking forward to that group. This is the group that's going to be most of the kind of crazy thing for me. Alistair, a guy who always sits at the top of the EU ladder, a guy who's been playing very well as a sub-in for Corunta Esports Club and Team League situations. Then, of course, we have the giants of Moon and Adele Scott in there as well. So I think it's going to be fun. In Group P, we see Bly and Death Angel, very, very good in that group. But I'm looking forward again to see how the kind of unknown Spanish players are going to show up throughout this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I very much know very little about Master down there, and also know very little about ZYM as well, the Italian player there. So it's going to be interesting to see how things shape out. If any of these relatively unknown players do make it into Group Stage 2, success, because that is exactly what they're aiming for here, to get past Group 1. If they can pull off a victory against one of the pro top players here, great for them. That sets them up really nicely. But we are getting the invites ready for this next match, which is going to be Elfi versus Violet. Violet, of course, an MLG winner. Elfi, pretty much, it's kind of, he was, around the time the WCS Finland Nationals happened, he was considered the best Finnish player, but did lose to Nama in the finals. As you said, Nama spikes up with results here and there.
Every once in a while, yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to be a difficult one because Violet is very, very strong. Is definitely a strong opponent, playing for his new team as well, new sponsor, to say, Azubu.
Yes.
But Elfi, unpredictable, all-ins. If you watch the TSL, do you see the TSL 4 games?
Oh, yeah,
Violet versus, I'm not Violet, sorry. Elfi versus Life?
Yes. No, I remember you guys were going nuts about... No, the funny part is when I tuned in and I started watching those games anyway, you guys were like, okay, well, first off, we have Elfi, who's ridiculous and unpredictable, and then you have Life, who's a young guy, who's ridiculous and unpredictable and can just throw the most amazing things at you at any given point in time.
I know, you put two macro players against each other, you kind of have a 1 hour game, you put,
of course.
You put Elfi and Life together, you have fireworks going off in your bedroom, and it made no sense what was going on. There was cannon rushes, 6-4s, Nidus Worm, Hydra play. It was unbelievable what we saw there. But of course, Violet is a different level of player to Life. I mean, not really level, but different style of player. Violet is a more traditional, more simplistic. He focuses on simple unit compositions like Roach Ling, Ling Muta, these kind of combinations. But Elfi, Warp Prism all-ins, Immortal all-ins, any kind of all-in.
Yeah, you mentioned Immortal all-in. I think that's what's likely to be seen against Violet the most. He can fall susceptible sometimes to those strong 2-base 3 Immortal pushes with Warp Prism play, things like that. And Elfi's certainly the kind of guy who's going to bring that out on a regular basis.
Absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind on one of these maps, maybe not the first one, it is Daybreak. We may not see an Immortal push here. It still could happen. He may wait for a smaller map. I mean, we'll have to get the 3 maps off the admin in a couple of seconds, but if Ohana and Cloud Kingdom maps in this best of 3, which very well could be, then I think we could easily see an Immortal all-in from Elfi here, or some form of all-in, whether it be Blink play as well, very famous for that too.
Right. Okay, so it looks like the room is all getting set up, and we're going to get things rolling here in just a bit. Just as a reminder to everyone, of course, there's 150,000 Swedish krona on the line this weekend, and 2 spots, 2 all-important spots to DreamHack Winter. That'll go to places number 1 and 2 points, of course, distributed to a few other players other than that. So 70,000 to first place. The entire prize pool is about 21,500 US, of course, for anyone. So I don't even know what time it is back where I'm from. I think it's like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. So if anyone is still watching in San Francisco right now, I love you. This is for you. Just you.
European brothers. My English friends.
All right. Whatever. I don't care.
All right, the players are ready.
That's right. Oh, I'm ready too. And the countdown has begun. So, guys, we are going to move into a PvZ best of 3. This is essentially going to decide the entire group here. Group A, as we have Elfi going up against Violet. And I'm really looking forward to this.
And I said before, are we going to see Cloud? Are we going to see Ohana? The first map, Daybreak. The second map, Cloud. The third map, Ohana. We will see those 2 small maps where Elfi could do anything. But first of all, it is going to be Daybreak. A nice big map, voted Team Liquid's Map of the Year 2011. Let's get into this game between, of course, Elfi for his team, Asus, or represented by Republica Gamers, Asus in Finland.
That's right. And down here at the bottom left-hand corner of Daybreak, we have our red Zerg player represented by Azumu. It is Violet. And his opponent in the upper right-hand corner, our blue Protoss player, unpredictable man himself, it is Elfi.
Elfi. For a lot of old Warcraft 3 players, you may know him by Elfi Tyre, his former name. He did lose the Tyre. I'm not sure what it means in Finnish. I mean, I've been told so many times, and I'm sure I'm going to get told now on Twitter too. Elfi Tyre, it's like, God, I'm not even going to try and guess. It is something. As Elfi, Adabisi.
Thank you, Adabisi. We appreciate the bad manner from behind the scenes. So
behind the scenes, well Adabisi.
Well done, sir.
Wants to get his name out there. Of course, this game directed by Adabisi.
That's right.
On a map like this, you actually can go Nexus first. Nexus first is actually considered standard here on Daybreak. So anything Forge play, Elfi's starting to, put a bit of a trick here into his play, whether it be the early pylons to block off. Because when you go Nexus first, you can't really afford the pylons down to prevent the hatcheries coming. But so far, it seems like it could be just Nexus.
Yeah, we'll see what we get out of these guys here in just a bit. Violet's, of course, throwing down spawning pool. Wants to make sure he's not going to fall to any sort of cannon shenanigans, especially against a player like Elfi at the beginning of this game here. So, but Elfi's saving up quite a few probes right now. Most likely has a couple of them queued up, and we will see that Nexus first here momentarily.
I really like Violet's progression as a player in his career in StarCraft 2. I think it's one of the best, actually, in terms of, who he was in career. Because he actually, started... A lot of people actually don't know that. He started his career in the GSL. He played in the GSL. He was kind of a mid-tier Zerg player. Didn't really get too many big results, of course. And then he moved to America and studied in America. And he started to pick up, I think it was the CSN tournaments, because he was sponsored by CSN back then and still very friendly with them. And he picked pretty much won like 20 in a row.
Yes,
in the North American scene, and then started to attend these big events such as MLG, and eventually found himself an MLG champion. And it is good to see Violet in Europe too. He very, very rarely attends European events.
Right.
So it is a pleasure to have him here in Valencia too.
Yeah, we're glad to see him. I remember he even popped out to IPL 3 at the time when he was actually sponsored momentarily by a Filipino team. So I mean, he's bounced around a little bit, but he's getting things underway now. Obviously, he's an incredibly strong Zerg player, and we'll see what he has to offer now. So Forge and then a gateway coming up the front for Elfi as he decides to take his gas right now. Nothing too out of the ordinary for this game altogether, and a 4-minute hatchery coming down for Violet. So everything looking very normal for him as that drone is already on the way.
And Elfi Tyre, or Elfi, he hates Elfi Tyre. Whenever you meet Elfi, never call him Elfi Tyre. He really does hate that. Just call him Elfi. But when you do, what I was going to get into is Elfi does have points on the board. He did play at the Stockholm event. He does have 5 points, finishing top 16. And he didn't play, at the other event, but he didn't get as far in the DreamHack Summer Tournament. So only 5 points, but that's, 5 points.
Yeah, but I mean, currently the points leader, unfortunately, like you mentioned, was Rhett. He can't make it out here. He has 24 points at the moment. But if you take one of those 20-point seeds, third and fourth place, something like that, you're certainly right in the competition to run towards the DreamHack Winter Championship. So, looks like Cybernetics Core on the way. Elfi did just have to put up a quick second gateway there for a while just to make sure that no Zerglings would get in and disrupt anything, but everything's hitting pretty normally for him at the moment. Third hatchery well on the way for Violet. It's about halfway done.
And we already see this first strategical decision made by Elfi. He goes for +1 straight away here. And, when I say it's the first decision made, is because if you don't get +1, you actually get a faster robotics facility down. You have a faster Stargate down. You have a faster Twilight Council down, so on and so on and so on. So by going for the +1 early on, he needs to use this, and whether it's going to be for aggressive purposes, whether he wants to go straight for +2 so that he can go for an aggressive 2-base push, whether he wants to go Robo and Twilight Council and take a 3rd base while going for +2 as well. So these are the kind of options available for Elfi at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if he used it in an aggressive stance.
I agree. I mean, and so many Protoss players have been playing around with a little bit different gas timings lately as well, bypassing that +1, as you mentioned. It kind of just used to be the standard +1 hitting just before Warp Gate, and then you'd see a strong 2-base push eventually going up to 3 bases. But Protoss players are getting especially adept lately at taking very secure 3rd bases as well and being able to hold them. So, yeah, the Twilight Council already on the way, and that's going to finish up just in time to start +2 right away, in addition to another upgrade.
Yeah, he's going to, his most likely, oh my god, his sentry's out in the middle, going to clean his 2 lings out. Has to be kept. I mean, moving out like that and knowing that 2 lings are there, not knowing that 2 lings are there, I think he expected just 1 ling to be there, because 1 sentry can beat 1 ling, but 2 lings on his own and he loses it.
That's a huge loss. I mean, right at the very beginning, too, and Violet actually had superb control there. He was just attacking with one of the Zerglings while he ran the other up the ramp just to make make sure that he wouldn't be caught out by a force field.
Yeah.
That was brilliant decision-making, and Violet decides to take this. He's going for his layer tech right now. His Roach Warren's on the way. He's got the evolution chamber droning up still, so things are looking pretty normal for him. But that's a big win. That's 150 resources and 100 gas lost already for Elfi.
Absolutely, and Elfi's got 4 gateways coming down now, and Overlord makes his way and sees the gateways, and with everything going down. So right now, the things that Violet can pick on is that double gases went down at 620. He wants to tech up incredibly early on, so he knows now the most likelihood of this, because he did see +1 as well, is +2 Blink Stalkers upon seeing these gateways coming down as well. So Violet, without directly seeing the Twilight coming down, he knows that aggression's coming. He's got 3 Overlords on the way. He's opening up his supply, 5 Overlords on the way. He will start Roach production and Link production immediately here. There come the extra gateways, and Elfi is going to open up with a 2-Blaze Blink Stalker play, backed up with a couple of sentries because he did grab those earlier gases, but it will be the majority of a Stalker combination. Is Violet going to be ready to defend?
Well, it's certainly been telegraphed to him already. He knows what's coming. He's already preparing for it. He's got Lings and Roaches out the wazoo already. Roach speed is on the way along with his +1 weapons. The +1 weapons, of course, being the big kicker there, as some players will delay on that if they're going to tech for a bit. But, yeah, I mean, Violet is preparing everything he needs to get ready.
And Elfi's walled himself in. He's absolutely committed to this. There's no pylon on the map already here. So it will take a long time to get across there. And we see Violet in the top left actually looking for a pylon, saying, all right, if he's going to do this, where is it? Because it's not there yet. The first pylon is going to be planted down now by Elfi, but the production tab shows a pretty scary thing, and that's a lot of units being made here.
It is a lot of units, and he's even done clever things like where he's putting his macro hatch. It's over at his 3rd base and a little off to the side, so we make sure he zones out as far as possible. Thank you very much there, and he will get a little bit better defensive position, making sure he watches his mineral line. So Elfi making his way up with a bunch of Blink Stalkers, +2 just about to finish, and he is going to try and hit as strong as possible, but Violet's in such a good defensive position.
Yeah, Violet's macro hatch was a little bit late. They can talk about that, just it will hurt him as the game goes on. He's not as high in supply as he wants to do. He was a little bit supply bot right now, but the amount of units he has out with +1 surely to be, he should be able to defend it, but it's all going to be about control.
Oh, and the force field's actually missing a little bit in terms of the Lings, but the rest of the forces weren't able to catch up for Violet, so Elfi actually getting in here. He does kill the macro hatch outright, not canceled, so 300 resources lost already, and he's going to grab a 2nd base. All the while, Violet's running around the side trying to capture these forces in. A bunch of force fields are already baited out, but Violet has made his way around the side, catching off some of the Blink Stalkers as well.
Oh, wow, a lot of drones coming to fight here. Looks like 20 drones as well, and the Roaches and Lings make their way forward, pushing Elfi back. Elfi, though, still has a good force, and now the drones have to get back to working. They need to go back momentarily here as Elfi will start to warp in more and more Stalkers, but a good solid defense so far, 135 supply versus 80.
Yeah, just the macro hatch has been lost, but other than that, he's held on to the rest of his bases. He wasn't mining from the 3rd for a while, but now there's a bunch more circlings that are coming in to help start to press this attack against the Stalkers a little bit better. And yeah, they're starting to flood in there now. The Blink cooldown is actually done, but now used, and Violet has a little bit of time where he's going to get a bunch of damage done on these Stalkers. They're starting to fall one by one. The supply is way out of whack now for Elfi. He's trying Blink Micro as best as he can, but Violet being very diligent, making sure he hugs those Roaches in and picks off every last Stalker he can.
Yeah, Violet never overdroned. He never really got massively Overlord capped, and he will pick up this first victory. GG is called, and Violet takes map number 1 against Elfi, but this does leave those 2 smaller maps remaining.
Yes.
Cloud Kingdom and Ohana.
Yeah, Cloud Kingdom, pretty easy to go ahead and section off a 3rd base from a Zerg player because you've got that even ground that runs around the side. You've got the ramp. There's a lot of things that you can try and pull off there, so would not expect anything but another strong all-in from Elfi.
Completely agree there, but Violet, pretty much ideal defense. Good scouting to see it early on. Stopped his drones at 58 for anybody that wants those small numbers. Stopped his drones at 58. So he's actually didn't overdrone. Overdroning is pushing that 60 mark, going a little bit too high up. His macro hatch was a little bit late there, but it's nothing too big to complain about. It's not a big ordeal that it was that late, but Elfi has to think about what's next.
There we are. And like we said, these players are already very strong in the group right now. They're undefeated. This is essentially going to decide who gets that all-important first place because whoever's second, as you mentioned before, has to match up against 2 first-place seeds from other groups.
Yeah, and just letting you know, the first-place finishers of the groups, we could be seeing Tasia, Hero, Stefano, Lucifron.
Pretty good players.
So if you finish in 2nd place in the first group stage, you'll have to face 2. Because the way it works out going on to the 2nd group stage, if you finish in 1st place, you move into a group with another 1st place player, but then 2 second place finishes, and if you finish second place, you go into the second group stage with 2 first place finishes, and that's when it gets a little bit hairy. Every DreamHack Open tournament this year, when it comes to that second group and third, there has been third group stages with the bigger tournaments too.
Yes.
It starts to get difficult, especially if you mess up in the earlier group stage.
Yeah, and so we're going to see what our players are going to offer now as we are ready to go on Cloud Kingdom. The game is going to get started here momentarily, but Elfi certainly needing to give his opponent a little bit different look. We'll see if he decides to switch it up, if it's going to be that same Blinkstalker, big +2. We've seen 3 Immortal Pushes very, very popular on this map, so that was my prediction kind of leading into the set, and I would not be surprised to see that here, but the game is loaded up, and we're ready to go.
Not too many Koreans. There are a handful here, but not that many.
Right.
We'll have to see if all of them are going to make their way through.
And down here in the bottom left-hand corner, up 1-0 in the set so far, represented by Izubu, it is Violet. And his opponent in the upper right-hand corner, our blue Protoss player, Republic of Gamers, Aces Republic of Gamers representative, Elfi.
And Violet's first DreamHack tournament in 2012, definitely gunning for that top-tier spot. A lot of people are gunning for that top 2, the final, basically. Getting to the final, getting the direct seeds. The prize pool is top 4 as well. A very, very tough tournament here. A lot of good players. 64 players in total, roughly 40 well-known, well-popular players here.
And, yeah, we talk about the price distribution, 150,000 Swedish krona, about 21,500 US dollars on the line, 70,000 actually going to first place, 40,000 to second place, and then third and fourth actually split the remaining 40,000, 20,000 apiece, and, of course, they receive equal points and all that. No third place match going to be played in this tournament. We go right from semifinals to the grand finals tomorrow.
And remember the show, just like the DreamHack Stockholm Open, where we saw Thorzane take the victory there in his home crowd. The show starts in the quarterfinals, which is tomorrow 4 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon, 4 p.m. local time. So that's early morning for Americans, evening and night time, I suppose you can say, for Australians and Koreans and the Asian countries.
But not a bad time for everyone, honestly. Yeah. That's when I've historically been able to watch the DreamHacks in the past, so when I didn't have to resort to VODs for some of the earlier matches. Great tournaments, but usually asleep at 4 a.m. my time.
And remember, both of these guys in the game right now have won their first 2 games.
Yes.
So they're 2-0 with no maps lost so far. So whoever wins this is getting that important spot, as we mentioned, first and second seed on the line here. Both of them are already through to the second group stage. That's a good start for both of them, but it's all about that important seeding.
And Elfi does not get a block on the hatch of Violet over at the natural. Violet able to put that down in normal time. Elfi himself going after a Nexus first, so things are all pretty consistent so far. Forge following that up for Elfi, of course, no surprise.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty normal to do. Again, to be able to go for that Nexus first is quite normal here. And Violet's not looking to do anything. He's got a single ling, a single set of lings being made, because he did actually get an extra drone, and then we'll build drones again here. So he's actually not looking to do anything. He's accepting that Nexus is down first. It is a normal thing that happens a lot here.
And a similar sort of situation where the cannon's not going to be completely finished up by the time these lings make their way across, so Elfi may have to block with another building here momentarily, especially as these lings aren't forced to be used to clear up any sort of pylons over at the third. They're going to check, but they're not going to find anything.
Yeah, and then they'll probably make their way across. Maybe the Zelnoga Towers, we'll see where they're going to go. The drone is down there to go take that base in just a couple of moments' time, and Violet is going to just basically say, all right, the first opening move from Elfi is Nexus first, very economy-focused build. Well, I'll just go for 3 hatcheries. That's fine by me. I don't mind playing a little bit. I mean, because Nexus first does give you a little bit of a boost in terms of economy, but what's this probe going to do?
I don't know. I mean,
is Elfi going to try something? He goes around the long way, but he is going to shoot down. He could have tried a cannon pylon. Would have been a risk.
Would have been Elfi, though. So
would have been Elfi. It's a great counter argument.
You were mentioning the set against Life in TSL4, and you know, those games were just, from a spectator's point of view, like, I had no idea what to expect going into it. I was like, I don't even know if Life is just going to go for 3 hatches. He could just 2-base mute it here, but I don't know. This is Violet we're talking about, so a little bit more standard play.
Are we going to see +1 come down from Elfi? I don't think he will. Not with Nexus first. I think he'll go probably for a Robo here.
Yeah,
Stargate's possible, but I think Robo's the most likely option for Elfi by going Nexus first. Because if you go Nexus first, everything's a little bit more delayed. You can't get things out as fast as you would do usually. And Robo play can be used defensively here. It doesn't necessarily need to be an aggressive one. Robo, Immortal, Sentry style is very strong here because there are just simple ramps for you to defend on. If you hit the force fields down well, it is easy to take third bases.
That's right. If we can take a look at Violet's third here, we'll actually show. So there's a few different paths to get in. You have the ramp up at the front. You have the even ground path that leads from outside all the way over around into the third. And then, of course, you still have a little bit of even ground path from the natural as well. So there's a lot of different possibilities for you as a Protoss player to actually move up there and kind of section off that base and prevent any reinforcements from making their way in anywhere else. And it is a Stargate that's going to come up for Elfi.
Yeah, Stargate, not Robo. So by going for Stargate here, I mean, it can go Void Ray. I most likely expect to be Phoenixes. Void Rays are a little bit out of fashion in recent times. In 2012, they passed out when Summer left. And basically because Phoenixes get the same job that Void Rays do. I mean, they pick up the Queens, they do the Overlords. Elfi has to be careful about that Stalker.
Yeah. But Phoenix is the new black.
Yeah,
so.
It is the new black. And people like wearing black. But is the Overlord going to spot it? It should turn right. I mean, it sees the pylon.
Yeah. I'm sure he will here in a second. At the very least, I mean, Elfi certainly has the potential to sit back and just, we even saw Chrono Boost there for a second, but didn't see the actual structure. So Elfi could certainly just save a few Phoenixes, then run them all out at the same time, as we do see a Phoenix on the way now. But a lot of Protoss players have been fine with revealing them and picking off Overlords as quick as they can. I
mean, with Phoenixes, you do a lot of damage, but it's not just the damage you deal, it's the indirect damage, because you force your opponent to go straight Infestors, because without Infestors, Phoenixes rule the map. They will kill Overlords, they'll kill Queens, they'll pop in, it doesn't matter how many spores you have, they'll take the damage on their shield. So Violet will have to go straight for an Infestation Pit, and with going straight for an Infestation Pit, delays Roach and Lings. You can't go Roach and Lings. You can maybe go for a handful of Lings to pressure a third base, but Force Field will be good enough to hold off. We already see the wall off complete. So Elfi's going to take a third base, and then as the third base is down, we'll go straight for a Robotics Bay, because he knows his opponent's going to be on light units, Lings, Infestors, and we'll start to build a combination of units to be able to bring that down. So very shortly, we'll see these Phoenixes explode onto the map, and that's where the damage and the pressure will begin.
There are already 3 finished up with a 4th on the way now, and that's usually enough to be able to get out there and do some significant damage, some significant pressure, and they've been sitting back long enough that they do have quite a bit of energy already saved up for multiple grabs. So here we go, Phoenix is making their way out. There's 4 of them, 5th actually being rallied in already as well, so Elfi's planning on continuing with this for a little while.
And there's no anti-air down yet. Right now we actually see aggressive units being pushed out by Violet. He's building Roach and Lynx to press that third base, but as soon as he sees the Phoenixes, as soon as he realizes he's going to have to abort that, he needs Spore Crawlers, he needs additional Queens. He may try to pressure anyway, but Elfi should be okay with the force fields he has.
Yeah, this reminds me of the Mondragon list of counters from TSL 3. Yeah. So when you see anything, build Roach. Elfi is making his way in. He's picked off quite a few workers, though. He's only lost the shields, as we mentioned before, so that's all the damage he's taken so far on these Phoenixes. But wow, Violet is not giving this up. He is just producing a ton of attack units. He wants to put on pressure and put it on right now.
And right now, the Phoenixes are going to have to save their energy because they're going to have to be used for defense. The force fields have to be spectacular. The Natural's already defended. It's got the Wharf. It's got a cannon there. We already see the Phoenixes doing damage, and I think Violet's just going to back off. We see him moving back now. The Infestation Pit's down too. Yep. Well, actually, he's going to go around the left-hand side rather than going straight under the Phoenixes. He's going to take a different angle, a different approach. Elfi has a lot of sentries, but it has to nail the force fields down.
Yeah, there are 4 photon cannons that are sitting there around the side as well, so that's a pretty stout defense, but it's still going to require great control with that Immortal there as well. Going to provide a little bit more backbone, and here comes Violet. He's making his way right in, forces a cancel on photon cannon number 1, trying to bust his way through this pylon down to the south. Hasn't been able to do so quite yet. There's the force field to actually trap units in, and still this pylon has not fallen. The photon cannons have done quite a bit of damage as well, and thus far, Elfi has actually been holding quite well.
Really good force fields here by Elfi. Needs to put down a couple of cannons though to make sure he is okay. Needs to get that force field. He does.
No. Okay, Fuelings were able to make their way through. They killed 1 sentry, but that was it, actually. The rest of the units dealt with by Elfi pretty well.
Good control by Elfi. The second Immortal's here, and Elfi's going to hold on to this third base. Excellent, excellent hold by Elfi. And now because Elfi's actually a relatively slow play, he's not the highest APM, the Phoenixes now will be used again, because now he doesn't have to panic. We see the APM down at just 100 compared to 200. The Phoenixes will need to come back into action. They need to start doing drones, Queens, Overlord damage. They can't fall back. Elfi can't just leave them idle here, but we already see the tech over to Robotics Bay. But I really do, commend Elfi on that defense. That was an excellent defense.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good spot for Elfi as well, because Violet didn't decide to commit into this technology a little bit earlier. He's behind on his Infestors. He invested a ton into Roaches and Lings. He tried to make an attack work, which really did nothing other than kill a couple of cannons and a pylon. Elfi was able to maintain all but 1 of his sentries. He kept both of, look at that resources lost there. 4 times as much for Violet. So Elfi is just playing spectacularly.
And what Elfi will probably try to accomplish now is a +3 attack timing before the Hive is done. I mean, that's kind of where you are now. We have a second, actually, the second Forge coming down. And the Fleet Beacon, he's going straight up for Mothership here.
All right.
And going for not so many units, but more efficiency with good upgrades, with the Mothership out. It's going to be a unique combination of units here, and I didn't really expect that coming from Elfi. He's not that kind of player, but this is going to be extraordinary. He may actually take a fourth base, which is definitely not Elfi style, but...
And Violet's going right back into strong attack units one more time, so he may be trying to launch, I think it's going to be 7 Infestors in total when this is done, so he may try to put on some pressure again here in just a bit, but there's a Spire right afterwards. He will eventually get out some Corruptors to help him as well, in addition to teching up into... one more time, so he may be trying to launch, I think it's going to be 7 Infestors in total when this is done, so he may try to put on some pressure again here in just a bit, but there's a Spire right afterwards. He will eventually get out some Corruptors to help him as well, in addition to teching up into Broodlords eventually when Hive comes down.
All right, well, let's see if Elfi's going to take this new base here. Without the extensive amount of gateways, he has to.
And that was a great catch with the Fungal Growth, and those Phoenixes are done for. They do manage to pick up one Infestor. They may even get a kill on it, but still, this... Oh, and it actually, adding insult to injury, actually lands down before it gets killed. That's a lot of dead Phoenixes.
Ooh,
those would have been a nice buffer against any sort of Corruptors.
Yeah, the Phoenixes actually could have picked off Infestors as well. They could have been against Corruptors too, but right now, we have the fleet, the Mothership on the way. 7 more gateways. Elfi's going to be hitting this +3 attack and +1 shield attack here. Taking a fourth base is a possibility as well. I mean, that's not out of the question because he does have long term, and he's going to take a fourth base. So he may try to do some damage still with this kind of timing he'll have with good upgrades and shields, but basically with upgrading shields is pushing him long term. That means he's going to have the shields on the Mothership, he's going to have shields on carriers and so on, potentially later on as well.
Yeah, and right now he's getting a perfect look at what his opponent is doing as well. He's going to see Spire done here in a second. He's even going to see that Hive as well on the way. But as we can see, just 1/1 upgrades coming up for melee units for Violet at the moment. So the Broodlings aren't going to be the strongest. The Zerglings aren't going to be the strongest for now. And that is going to buy Elfi a little bit of time. But he needs to rally all of his forces to one place because Violet is staged up really well outside of his opponent's force.
And Violet's going to try and do something here for sure. I mean, he's got a lot of useless units per se, and we have +2 missile attacks, which he dedicated to before those upgrades. So the infested Terrans are strong.
That's right, and he's going to make his way in right now. The Fungal actually lands on all of the units up at the front. The Zerglings did die very quickly to the 2 Colossi that were sitting around the side, and Force Fields are zoning out a lot of units, but that's almost all the energy on a lot of the sentries that were actually up there. So Infestor's going to continue to try and swing their way in and chain Fungal Growth, but a lot of units have already been lost.
Yeah, and this is really nice here by Violet, trading off excellently.
Gets a Colossus as well. The Mothership is just finishing up. Yeah, it's still about 10 or 15 seconds away, so it'll be a while before Elfi's able to replace a lot of value in that army. And at the same time, Violet decides to expand to a 5th down in the bottom right-hand corner, in addition to producing 1,000,000 Corruptors.
Yeah, and I just like to go into a bit of a rant with, or not really a rant, but praising Violet, as we do actually see these 2 Zealots go in. It should be cleared off relatively easy here. It shouldn't take too much damage, but what Violet decided to do in this game, which we don't really see from many Zerg players actually, only a couple have done it before, is instead of going for +2 or double evolution chambers earlier on and start working on these upgrades, he goes ahead and says, well, I'm going to get +2 attack. My roaches are stronger, my infested Terrans are stronger. I can now waste my units easier by doing more damage to my opponent. I bring him down a level. Yes, I delay my own upgrades, but if I do enough damage, then what does it matter? I'm still going to be in a good position, and I really like what Violet did there with those units, and he could even do it again here with another set of infested Terrans out and roaches too, while building up this deadly army.
Yeah, and he killed a lot of high-value units. A Colossus went down, multiple sentries went down, so now Elfi is forced to put out whatever he can. He's only got 1 sentry, 26 Stalkers, 3 Colossi. He does have the Mothership sitting overhead, and it's quickly accumulating energy. It will be sitting on a Vortex here in just a bit, but for now, this is a staggeringly strong army that's making its way out for Violet, and Violet's just going to go right after the Mothership. It's already taken quite a bit of damage trying to back up. Has not gone after any of the Colossi quite yet, and there's a Vortex. It actually captures all of the Corruptors inside, and Elfi is able to make his way forward at the exact same time. He's got to get back and defend the Mothership here in a second. No, he's just going to take down all the meat of this frontline ground army.
Yeah, he's got to go back, though, to kill those Corruptors. He should be able to kill every single one of them with Blink now, and this is a great play here from Violet. I mean, from Elfi, really defending well here, and this opens up another opportunity to go because Violet was looking to trade there. He didn't trade anything. He just threw everything away there. I mean, aside from the Infestors that managed to get back, they do not have a lot of energy. I think this is the perfect opportunity for Elfi to warp in a bunch of High Templar, make some Archons, +2 shields is almost done, +2 armor is almost done, and he should be able to go now and do a lot of damage.
Unbelievable. So Elfi has actually done a miraculous defense there. There are a few Broodlords that are on the way, but he's got an advantage in almost every conceivable way. His upgrades are great. He's moving up into his shield upgrades as well. +2 shields. Yeah. He's already got armor done. He's going up to +2 armor. And Blink Stalkers are what deal out the most damage at the very, very end of a game after the Vortex, after all the high-value units get done. So with that high of a count, he's going to have a lot of maneuverability, and he'll be able to kill quite a bit of stuff.
I mean, I was thinking Elfi move because he needs to go. Yeah. If he picks up this 4th base and gets out, good. If he stays and fights, he doesn't have a Vortex, he doesn't have Archons. He just wants to kill this base and get out here. Potentially could go further, but with all the Broodlords ready, and a lot of Infested Terrors, this could be deadly at the same time.
Okay, so they're going right after the Mothership once again, but the Corruptors are getting picked off very, very quickly. The Mothership's still alive with 175 hit points and a good portion of its shields as well. The Colossi have not been touched yet. One may finally go down here in a second as it takes a couple of fungals, but once again, Elfi is able to keep his very high-value units alive.
Vortex available. There's no Nora Parasite, so doesn't have to worry about that. It's almost ready. 5 energy away. Is Elfi going to be able to bring Violet down here to draw this series up?
Okay, he's looking to move in and hit that Vortex. Hasn't landed it quite yet, just moving on all of his units. Throws down a Vortex, but it's more positional. It actually whiffs on a lot of the units, but we'll see if it buys enough time for his units off to the side to kill this hatchery. It does. Violet down to just 2 mining bases. He does have a base down at the bottom right-hand corner, but it's not being utilized at the moment.
No, it hasn't been used in a long time. Elfi's going to blink forward, and he's going to grab these Broodlords.
That's right, and there it is. GG. Elfi ties up the set, and Violet has gone down. A great game from Elfi.
Yeah, really good play there from Elfi. Violet overextending a little bit with those pushes, didn't accomplish anything, which allowed Elfi to jump at the opportunity of bringing that game in his favor there. Could have been dangerous, though. The Vortex was never available. Did buy time excellently. Well, Elfi draws the series up. Can't count anyone out at the moment. We saw a 2-1 loose from White-Ra, with Lucifron winning. And now we're drawn up, and the next map is going to be a deadly one. It's Ohana.
That's right. We mentioned before that, excuse me, Cloud Kingdom was a good map if Elfi had wanted to go after any such big 2-base play or something like that. But Ohana has a lot of the same characteristics as well. There's a lot of flexibility for Protoss players. You have the destructible rocks, which lead between the natural and the third, so they can decide between a defensive quick 3-base, or they can go and power up on 2 bases very quickly. But they can also, as we mentioned before, section off that Zerg third very easily.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, so there we have it, guys. I'm very glad that we started with these games as well, because I don't want to say that they could have easily been 2-0s one way or another, but it's awesome to see that they're being so competitive.
Yeah, I think it will continue to be so for the rest of the day, too. Our game after this is going to be Night End versus Tasia. It is only getting better here at DreamHack, and then we will be going into the second half of the initial group stage play, which features players like the STC, the Muslim, Stefano. So we're going to start hitting some big names as well down there before later on this evening when we go into the second stage of group play.
That's right, and I'm sure somewhere that Dignitas Odie is clapping his hands after that last game. He did predict Elfi. That is a close-up of my face.
Look at that handsome guy.
How are you guys doing today? So, the game's all loaded up, though. We are ready to move into it. It's time for game number 3 now between Violet and Elfi. Protoss versus Zerg. This is going to be so good. And here we are, guys, in the top left-hand corner of Ohana. We have our red Zerg player. Lost the last game, but trying to close things out for him in this set. It is a Zulu Violet. And his opponent down at the bottom right-hand corner, represented by Aces Republic of Gamers, it is our blue Protoss player, Elfi.
And then, like I said earlier, it is a pleasure to have Violet attending his first DreamHack of 2012. Elfi did play in both of the tours so far. In the Open, the Stockholm Open, and then, of course, DreamHack Summer. He accomplished top 16 in the DreamHack Open, the Stockholm event, and did manage to get 5 points on the board, which puts him in, I mean, it's actually a good position to have 5 points. Landing top 16 is a good result. Violet has nothing on the board, and while this game kicks underway, just talk a little bit about that point system, is that every player that finishes top 16 gets points for this. We already have, well, I think it's 4 slots to be exact. No, not 4 slots, sorry, I was much more than that. They actually qualify through the point system, but big players in the point system, Stefano, Sase, Naniwa, and a lot of others all fighting for that opportunity to make their way through.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it is going to be kind of interesting to see how this plays out. As we mentioned before, there are 2 group stages, and after the second group stage, we have the top player from each of those moving on to the 8-player single elimination championship bracket. But the next 8, the people who finish second in the group, they're actually going to receive a few points as well. So really every spot, every match is going to be worth something here.
And just had clarification on the point system is that the top 12 from the point system qualify for the overall finals in DreamHack Winter. So
there we are.
Need to land those top 12 points position-wise. But into this game here, we do have an attempt of Nexus first once again, which will happen. And continued cancellation on that, or not really cancellation, but delaying.
And Elfi's doing, a very nice job of holding off here for a while, and does, for the first time, actually drop down a pylon, which is going to force Violet over to his third, but Elfi looks like he's going to move over there and block.
The problem is, though, if Violet makes like 4 to 6 slings, he could get in, because the Forge is a lot later now, because of that pylon, which is why you don't really see pylon blocks while going Nexus first here. So those 4 lanes may shoot all the way down to try and do this. And if they don't get in there, and if the wall does complete, those 4 to 6 lings, they go kill the back rocks too and put even more pressure on from another angle. So, and we actually do see 6 lings, so I think that Violet's going to do that. Maybe 4 lings and then 2 to scout and check around the map in case the pylon's down. But Elfi's got to be careful.
Okay, well, he does have his gateway coming up at the front, so there's just a little gap there in between the pylon and the gateway. He throws down the photon cannon, but he is probably going to need to wall this off here in a second. And because of how late that photon cannon is, like you said before, 4 lings are going to work very quickly on a pylon, and that's going to lose hit points very quickly.
All right, Elfi's going to make his, or should make a wall defense there. There it is, but 4 lings on a pylon. Oh, is he going to go down before the cannon's going to be ready?
He may very well, actually. This is not so great for Elfi at the moment. And 6 lings in total are going to be up at the front. There's the pylon. 6 lings get in. This is going to be a lot of economic damage done. 1 ling goes down, but probes are going to be forced off the line quite a bit.
This is terrible for Elfi here, and that's why. And all this happened because he tried a pylon block. While going Nexus first, you can't afford to get the Forge down on a good time. Stuff like this happens, and he's in a world of trouble now.
And 3 bases, as we can see, are underway for Violet at the moment, so he's powering ahead with his own economy. He's looking pretty good. Elfi, thus far, has done a decent job defending, but then again, every time he cycles those probes off of the minerals, 5 or 6 of them, another 10, 15, 20 minerals lost every time he does that.
And these 5 lings can surround a Zealot, too, and kill it, as long as he micros well. So the Zealot has to be very careful. He's going to sit in the mineral line. Violet can't go down to the natural, so he's going to have to stay in main, but so far, has done a bit of damage, not as much, but the one thing he gets from this is that he prevents the gas timing a little bit more. And oh my god, he's going to get this round.
Yeah, Elfi's done a good job of hitting the hurt Zerglings at first, and look at the micro there from Violet pulling back as well, so both players trading a little bit of blows in terms of micro there, but Elfi now a little bit farther underway. He does have a couple of gas up. His cybernetic score is just about to finish. He's a little bit delayed on getting any stalkers or anything out there, but he will eventually get underway.
Yeah, he will, and these lings still survive. Are we going to see an Immortal all in? Well, you don't see that +1 yet, and the robotics could come down from here if Elfi wants to try that. But with the lings in, they're going to get scouting information as well.
It is a super quick third gas as well for Elfi. He actually started that just before the 6-minute mark, something around there right afterwards. So, and it is, I think I see the shadow of a Stargate there. Yes, it is.
Okay, so he's not going to go for the Immortal, and he's going to play very similar to previously. It is a good style. I mean, Elfi played it off rather well. Did the damage by picking off drones, Overlord's Queens, and then even came back to defend. The final link is shot down and killed, or not really shot down, sliced down. And now Elfi has a bit of room to breathe. But as I did mention before, when the lings are in your base, your gases are later because you're trying to pull off probes, and you don't get the same income as before. So Elfi is a little bit slower in this game than previously. But he's not too far behind. But the problem is that behind there's nothing but drones, man.
There is a robotics facility coming up at the exact same time for Elfi as well, so we'll see what he plans with that here in just a bit. But yeah, you were talking about Violet here. As we can see, layer tech's on the way. He's got his evolution chamber coming up as well. I don't believe he started a roach swarm, but we may see one here in just a bit. And Zergling speed is started.
And I love that Violet's actually adjusted his timings a little bit here. Usually you'd see the evolution chamber coming down at 7 minutes exact, but because of all the pressure that's gone on, he saw no +1 as well. There's no need to get that down, so just build another wave of drones, another round of drones, and then get the evolution and roach swarm a minute later. So Violet's basically playing a little bit unsafe, but calculated unsafe. So he actually has a better economy than he would do normally. He's currently sitting at 59 drones at a very fast time, and from here on out can continue to drone and take gases, or start to build units and start to look for aggression towards a potential third base.
And as we saw there, as Anabisi just pointed out, the Overlord did catch wind of that Phoenix if Violet was paying attention to the minimap. So even though Elfi's trying to hide those for now, not going to be that successful in doing so. Violet himself producing a fair number of roaches for now, starting to increase that Overlord count as well.
And no reaction from Violet, actually, to the Phoenixes. So I don't think he knows about it yet.
It came across his vision, but he still would have had to be very aware of the map in order to spot that.
Yeah, I'm looking through his vision. He has no idea what's going on. We've seen Immortal being made as well, nice and early on. No Spore Crawls coming down whatsoever. No additional Queens. His Phoenix is going to hit just as hard as last time, because even though he did have the chance to spot this to react, doesn't know. But with only 49 probes down by Elfi, oh my god, I know what he's going to do. This is actually going to be a two-base bust here from Elfi. I don't think he's looking for a third base, simply because he's thrown down 2 additional gateways now. I've seen this before from Elfi. He will go in, he'll pick up units rather than drones, rather than overlords, and this could be quite a strong attack here. We already have 2 Immortal, 1 Immortal, a second one going to be on the way. Very tense moment. Elfi, like we said, predicted, is going to be doing this two-base aggression.
That's right, and with +1 weapons available to him, and of course no Carapace upgrade in sight, Violet's units aren't going to die very, very quickly. Of course, he has a lot of units on the field right now, though. He's produced a ton of Roaches, he's produced a ton of Lings, he's hitting all of his upgrades. Roach speed and +1 are going to finish just as this hits from Elfi, but he still does have nothing to protect against these Phoenixes swinging around the right-hand side. There, finally, Spore Crawlers are going up, but it's a little bit too late.
Indeed, and another gateway is coming down, and now the Phoenix is going to hit the Spore Crawlers late. As you said, the additional Queens late as well, and the Infestation Pit only just now coming down, and Elfi's going to get a lot of damage done.
Yeah, second Queen's going to fall here, and at the same time, Violet is staging up with the rest of his forces, but we know there's already Immortals that are sitting out there, so it's not like this is going to hit when there's purely gateway units on the field, so Elfi's damage has been very, very great.
Yeah, and he's going to slow his opponent down by using these Phoenix. He's going to bring down a lot of these Overlords to supply cap his opponent, and then start to make his movement across, and then start to use the energy to pick up a lot of units here. And Elfi with a designated all-in, ready to kill Violet, ready to go. Is it going to work?
And Elfi has been playing so well. I mean, this from the last game to this one as well. The first game was a little bit shaky. The +2 blink all-in really hit too late and didn't do all that much damage, but ever since then, Elfi's been on top of his game. Another Overlord goes down. He critically supply blocks his opponent again. 8 Overlords forced to be popped out at the same time just so Violet can produce anything else.
Elfi's going to make his movement down there. There's a pylon put down, and Elfi sees everything. He could force field really well here.
And he does manage to catch a few units there, and that does take a lot of the meat out of this army from Violet, especially because Elfi lost nothing there. He lost nothing but energy. He's got a lot of excess minerals sitting around that could become a third base possibly here in a bit, and some more gateway units, but still, Elfi is looking just fine.
The big problem with Elfi's all-in, because he's using Phoenixes and delaying everything, it's 12-30 minutes in the game.
Right.
Infestors.
Right.
And if he doesn't pick them up with those Phoenixes, then they will fungal, and they will trap everything here. So it's going to be very important for Elfi to concentrate on that, but does he even know about the Infestation Pit? No, that's the problem.
No, he doesn't at all, and the Infestors are just popping out. If this attack had come about 30 seconds earlier, he could have done a lot more damage, but unfortunately, as it sits, one good fungal on top of all of those sentries, and that's it. It just holds his attack off.
Yeah, this is going to be a very tense moment. Elfi still has no idea about it. We do see changelings within the army of Elfi, and Elfi hasn't got rid of them, and Violet's going to pounce because he sees everything.
Oh, he's making his way out right now. The force fields were actually pretty good. They're keeping a lot of those infestors at bay. A fungal growth did land and catch a few of the sentries, but none of them have died quite yet. The Phoenixes have picked off 1, now 2 of those infestors, but already a couple of them have died to that Spore Crawler.
Oh, really nice force field once again here by Elfi. Is he going to have the durability with this army, because they are melting pretty fast, the fungal growth?
Yeah, the fungal growths still have not killed many of the sentries, though. It's more the circlings that have come through that have killed them. So Elfi still has a lot of meat in this army. He has taken out that Spore Crawler at the front. He still has 3 Phoenixes available. Everything being pulled off the line now for Violet, but still so many units sitting here for Elfi.
3 Immortals, but the Roaches are starting to break their way through. There's no fossils really left here. Is Violet going to be able to do it? Drones are coming to fight. 2 Immortals still remain. And with 2 Immortals remaining, we have 12 kills on one. On the other one, we have 13. They are doing a lot of damage, but it looks like Elfi seems to be falling back. Is Violet going to continue through to hold?
Oh, he has done a nice job picking off that one Immortal at the front. Unfortunately, Elfi didn't cycle those to the back there, so he does lose one of them right away. He has done economic damage. As we saw before, it's 47 workers to 49 with Elfi with a small lead for now, but Violet still has enough production where he can continue pumping out quite a few roaches. He could even, he has enough gas around, make a few more infestors if he feels that another attack isn't going to hit soon.
Yeah, I think, infestors are going to, this ceiling deal, but he's under a lot of pressure to actually get them out. They could be the one thing to win the game. Elfi with only a single Immortal left at the moment. A second one is about to join, though, and he does have a Warp Prism to continue this assault on creep, and another wave's going to come. 45 drones to 49 probes. Elfi's gearing up to go again.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of gateway units behind this, 2 Immortals still remaining, and we'll see if he can bust through one more time, but don't believe that there's a single infestor on the field at the moment at all.
And there's not that much force fields either, if you look at it. I mean, the force fields is only about like 6 to 8 force fields, which is not that much, to be honest, especially if you waste them.
He's not going to have to worry about the AoE, though, so his position is still pretty strong. He's not decided to take a third behind this at any point in time. He's really committed to this at the moment, sticking at that 50 probe level, and he is going to make his way up. Violet trying to swing away from the side one more time, and he is able to slowly bring forward a few units, but pretty nice force fields once again. That is about all of the energy on these infestors, though, as a Guardian Shield does hit.
Yeah, the Sentry only have a couple of force fields left. Those are the last force fields. That's it. There's no more force fields. There's no more controlling the flow of the swarm, and now Violet is got the best opportunity to go in with his +2 attack on these roaches.
Okay, well, here comes Elfi right now. He is able to bust through a few of those roaches. That was a pretty good attack path for him right there. That small little choke point meant that only a few of the roaches could attack at any given point in time, and Violet smartly backs out.
And 2 more sentries warped in. Still a lot of sentries remain, though. There's 8 sentries in total, so they are banking up a lot of energy over time, and more stalkers come in. The stalkers going to be crucial in doing damage alongside these Immortals.
All right, this has been just basically a continuous 8-minute attack now, and it's still going on as Violet loses yet another big round of roaches up at the front. The sentries that were just warped in did actually do quite a bit of damage there, and making sure that he cut off that attack path. So
I think that what Elfi can do right now is build another Immortal. I mean, he keeps using every single 100 gas for a sentry. If he builds an Immortal with that 100 gas, a 3rd Immortal, a 4th Immortal with this now, and he has the time, as long as he keeps poking in on this. There's no drones being made, there's no tech being made, it's just units versus units, and if he trades off that, potentially could do well, but he's focused so much on doing this right now.
Yes, he is, and unfortunately his sentries get a little bit far forward. He has to dump out those force fields because he knew that he was going to lose the unit, so he doesn't pick off as many roaches as he would have liked there. Still quite a bit of damage done. Elfi's position is still very, very good, do not get me wrong, but wishes he probably could have done a little bit more right there.
And the Zealots are caught in the middle here, just dancing within the army. They're not really doing anything for Elfi now, and the roaches are doing a lot, but with 2 Immortals, with a lot of stalkers, Elfi is starting to break his way through. Is he going to claim the first spot, the seeding, to go through to the second round?
Well, we'll see if Odie's prediction comes right. Now, those Immortals still have not been touched. The Roach is trying to hug in there. One Immortal finally. No, he picks up his own Immortal. He keeps it alive. What a great play from Elfi, and he is going to move through and take out this base.
Oh, that's so good. And he puts it at the back of the army. He can easily pick it up again, and he does, but it does get picked off just in the nick of time by that Queen. And now Elfi is being pushed back once again. A very, very close fight between these two guys. Equal supply consistently.
And he does pick up his Immortal one more time until he gains some sort of position in this fight. Picks it up once again, drops it down just to pick off a couple more kills. Drones on the run now. It's 86 supply to 91 in favor of Elfi. What a ridiculous battle this has been.
Elfi's run out of minerals in his main base, though, compared to Violet, who can mine from his 3rd base. That's the difference in terms of income between these two guys. That Immortal crucial. If that Immortal stays alive and regens its shields back to 100, back to 100%, then he can continue to launch the assault. If he goes in before, he runs the risk, with 6 more roaches coming through, runs the risk of losing everything here.
That's right, those hardened shields are so valuable on those
Immortals. Oh my god, all the probes are coming.
Let's see. Oh, all right. Okay, a very Elfi-esque thing happening right now is this is a true committed all-in at the moment. The natural's actually getting very, very low as well. Just a token amount of mining going on there, and Elfi needs to win in a hurry.
And he does indeed. The Immortal's almost back to 100 shields now, 100%. The probes are coming in. Elfi needs to go back to use these probes at the front.
All right, so here comes the attack one more time. The probes actually engaging with the drones and occupying them for a second, and actually providing to be a pretty useful meat shield against the roaches that are at the back and can't really attack anything else. So Elfi continuing to swing his way through. Now Violet actually brings over the Overlord, so he can sit there and soak up a little bit of damage, especially from the Stalkers that'll be at the back, and they'll prioritize the Overlords before some of the roaches that are a bit farther away. But even with that, Violet is in a very bad place. He's pulling the rest of his drones right now. The roaches trying to swing their way through. He does not pick up the Immortal. The Immortal goes down. But even with that, Violet is down to just 30 supply.
Oh my god, there's only 9 roaches left, 8 roaches left. It's starting to fall down. Oh my god, is Elfi going to be able to do it? Is Violet going to hold on? It does not look like it. Elfi is going to be able to beat down Violet 2-1. 15 supply remaining. 59 here for Elfi. A missed force field, but as long as he keeps on warping units, it is over. GG.
What a performance from Elfi after going down in game 1. He comes back in spectacular style, wins a long macro game in game number 2, comes back in game number 3 with a brilliant Phoenix Immortal all-in.
Elfi, Elfi, Elfi does it again. Nobody ever expects him to do it, but he goes through as first place in Group A over Violet here by pulling those probes to make the kind of the clinical movement there at the end. Those probes won the game, and wow.
I know. What a way to start this whole tournament as well. We've had 2 great 2-1s, and we're going to hopefully keep things going. Our next set is going to be Liquid Tasia going up against Night End. That's awesome.
Tasia against Night End, Liquid Tasia versus Fnatic Night End. Night End, of course, being a semi-finalist at the DreamHack Winter that Hero won.
Yeah.